والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه واستنى بسنته واهتدى بهداه إلى يوم الدين. I hope, inshallah, you can hear me well. We're trying to do this, inshallah. Very good. MashaAllah. I've actually listened over the phone to several presentations, including the last one, alhamdulillah. I would like to personally thank our sister for her very logical, well-thought, analytical presentation. That was, mashallah, well put together and very thought-provoking presentation. Not only delivering the information, but it's actually asking us to think, why do these things happen? The mobs and the lynching and this. What has to happen way much before the action takes place? What has to happen before that? So I really love that presentation and the angle of that presentation. I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, that all hope is not lost. Why? Because we are believers and we put our hope and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we're called believers. That's why we have faith. But our faith asks us to look at reality. And the reality that we look at is that also all hope is not lost. We have people on the ground that are working with us. This is not only a Muslim issue. As the sister has explained, there are the untouchables or the Dalits in India. There are, if you ask Brother Hatem Bazian, he will tell you that there are very active Jewish groups that stand up for Palestinians against the policies of the Israeli government. And they pay a very heavy price for it. Actually, they pay a heavier price than we pay when we speak about the same issue. I have traveled to India. I have met lots of people. I've lectured at universities. And from my own interactions over many visits to India, I have seen a lot of educated people. I'm talking here Hindus who are open-minded, who are fair, who are good human beings, who work with the Muslims on their issues. As a matter of fact, some of the best lawyers that defend Muslims in India are actually Hindu lawyers. Some of the best activists in India that support Muslims are Hindu activists. So, the presentation today was not meant for you to say, oh my God, this is the end of the world, and all hope is lost, and this is happening around the world, and we sit down and do nothing. No, actually there is so much hope, and there is so much room for change, and so much room for a better future and a brighter future, more than you think. Really, really more than you think. SubhanAllah, even when we look inside the United States and the shocking turn of history and events and politics, we think, or do you think you are the only one who's shocked? Do you know how many people are shocked? Do you know how many friends and allies we have everywhere? And that's why I believe the world has seen the other face. The world has seen the other ugliness, and it's not beautiful. So extremism on any party that belongs to any group, that belongs to any nation, that belongs to any faith, is something ugly. And people were saying, oh, there's only, for a while it was made that there's only Muslim extremists and Muslim violent people, but the news is not leaving a room for anyone to hide in. We've seen the Buddhist terrorism in Myanmar. Do we say all Buddhists are terrorists? No. Then we will be doing the same thing that is done to us. Do we say all Buddhists in Myanmar are terrorists? No. But definitely the government has used the religion in Myanmar to turn against the people and this whole thing is enticed by religion. When usually you think of a Buddhist, you think of someone who's very peaceful, who wouldn't kill a worm, let alone kill a human being. So we really have to look right now that we got the information, alhamdulillah, the way Brother Hatem, Bazian and Sister Shehla has presented, they give you not only the news, but what got us into there, what got us to that point. And that is very important part of finding out what is the solution. Now, where do we go from here? So, subhanallah, today, khutbah al-Jum'ah, today's Friday, and great Jum'ah, in my khutbah in Sarduga, I mentioned, a group of ayat in Surah Al-A'raf and a hadith. This hadith is very interesting, very beautiful, and it sounds like something that you wouldn't hear normally. The speakers mention this hadith. But this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mu'minu al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-dhaif." The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. But in both cases, they're good. Here, strong believer, weak believer, we're not talking about faith, because the Prophet told the both believers. We're talking about the means, like, for example, financial means. You're strong in your intellect. You're strong in your energy. You're strong in your finances. You're strong in your views. You're strong into your networking. You're strong into, building alliances and becoming the mover and the shaker rather than the one who's moved and shook by others. So, when we look, the strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, but in both cases they're good. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ihris ala ma yanfa'uk." Be keen to accomplish that which benefits you. "Ihris ala ma yanfa'uk wa la ta'jiz." "Wasta'in billah wa la ta'jiz." Seek that which benefits you. Seek God's help. Don't become hopeless and helpless. La ta'jiz. Don't become hopeless and helpless. Seek that which benefits you. Seek God's help and don't be hopeless and helpless. And don't say when something happens, "Oh, had I done this or had I done that, that would have not happened." He said, don't do that. But say, Allah is in charge and I'm going to do my part. Because opening the door of, "I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that," is like the work of shaitan. It will not get you any work. It will not get you anywhere. It will not get you to accomplish it. So, taking this hadith in consideration, la ta'jab, don't be hopeless, don't be helpless. This principle of Islam helps us in every way. If you're sick and you're trying to heal, la ta'jab, don't be helpless, don't be hopeless. If you're poor and you're trying to become rich or provide for your family, la ta'jab, don't be hopeless, don't be helpless. If you're oppressed and you're trying to become have your rights back, don't give up, don't be hopeless, don't be helpless. We know this idea of mob attack and lynching. We know it very well from the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca. They did that to the believers. What do you call the death of Sumayya, the first martyr in Islam, who was a woman, and her husband Yasir, who were lynched and killed in front of their son Ammar radiallahu anhu ajma'in? They all faced that. So this mob mentality and this let's attack the weak amongst us mentality, this is long happened in our seerah. We know it existed even at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Even when people went to Abyssinia, they went there to get them, catch them, and do the same thing to them, torture them to death. So the Prophet ﷺ mentality was not to become hopeless and helpless, but to do something. That's why I say, brothers and sisters, by every means, today, we can do better and we can do right in the right direction by you finding out how can I donate for these efforts in India? How can I donate for the efforts in Palestine? How can I donate for the efforts in Myanmar and helping right now the situation in Bangladesh with all of these hundreds of thousands? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not ask you in the day of judgment, how come you did not change the thing instantly in Bangladesh or in Myanmar? Allah will not ask you because Allah knows you have no means of changing that. But Allah will ask you, what have you done? Spreading awareness, becoming part of the network, donating, calling local officials and national officials is part of what we need to do. We're not going to sit down and watch other people go through this and we do nothing about it. This is not only wrong for Muslims, this is wrong for humanity. As Sister Shehla said, this is not only happening to Muslims, they're doing it to even Hindus from their own religion. They even go through the same thing. In the last 2-3 years in India, what was happening in the news? Women group raping. They raped them and they beat them to death in the bus. And these ladies were not even Muslim ladies in many cases. So what is wrong. And, every country has to face up to their challenges and what they're going through. And we have to become the consciousness of the world and support that with our time, effort, money, inshallah, Alaeddin. That's what we are here for. We're not here to listen and entertain ourselves, but actually to do something about it. And then you can go to sleep comfortably after that, because you know you did something about it. And this is a long marathon. This is not a short sprint, but this is a long marathon. And we're going to keep on doing what is right until things change. And believe me, things will change, inshallah, because we're hopeful, we're optimistic. We ask Allah's help, and inshallah we will do it, and we will do it within the right means, the legal means, the peaceful means, the effective means, not the means that get us nowhere and get us to accomplish nothing. Inshallah Rabbil Alameen, I make dua for our brothers and sisters in Myanmar, in Rohingya, Ya Allah, be there for them as they immigrate across these wide lands and wetly lands, Ya Allah. Be there for the men, the women, the old, the young, the children. Make them arrive safely. Ya Allah, enable us to give them so that they can eat and survive. Ya Allah, we ask you that you spread love and peace and awareness between the neighbors in India, that you bring people together, that you remove the hatred from the hearts of the people, that you bring consciousness to the hearts of the leaders, or replace them with better leaders, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask you for peace and justice in Palestine, for the Palestinians and for everyone, Ya Allah. We ask you that even for us here in America, that you bestow your guidance upon us so that we know how to not only help ourselves, but help our Muslim brothers and sisters around the world, Ya Rabbal Alameen. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين آمين يا رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Again, don't forget to support the organizations that presented today so that we are working on the solution instead of just only crying about the problem. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.